Ульяновская область старается принимать участие в большинстве мероприятий, организуемых в WeGO. И для нас большая честь в этот раз выступать уже в качестве организаторов. Мы надеемся, что это не последний наш вебинар, и в 2015 году мы снова примем участие в тренинге по электронному правительству в рамках WeGO. И, конечно же, в ноябре месяце мы будем принимать участие в заседании Ассамблеи.
The Ulyanovsk region takes it as to participate in all WeGO activities, and today it's our pleasure not only to participate but host the webinar. And we hope that this is the first and not the last our webinar, and in 2015 we will participate in WeGO training program again. And of course we will be happy to participate in the coming third General Assembly, which will take place in China.
Хочу выразить слова благодарности и всем участникам, кто сегодня будет слушать, и, конечно же, нашим экспертам, которые расскажут о всем интересном. Огромное спасибо всем.
Let me thank every participant that is attending the webinar today, and everybody who is participating in WeGO activities. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Apanisheva. We definitely will hear more about what the Ulyanovsk region is doing in the area of e-government in general, and also more specifically in open data. But let me once again thank you. For welcoming words from Svetlana Pernusheva, Deputy Chairperson of the Government of the Ulyanovsk region and Secretary General of the WeGO European Regional Office of Ulyanovsk region. Now with this welcome, let me proceed with the agenda of our seminar. I will very briefly provide an overview of what we've got today. There will be 5 presenters who will provide different perspective on the issue, on the central issue of our today's webinar, which is e-government as open government. So what we'll be looking at different practices, different approaches from both Ulyanovsk region, Russia as a whole, and also from other countries such as Germany, and also more international experience, looking at what is open government is and how it can advance e-government further. Let me say a few words just in that respect. I think this is something that quite remarkable is happening in the field of open government and open government data. Unlike the e-government per se, which usually requires quite expensive infrastructure, we see from all over the world many interesting and exciting examples, not only from rich and developed countries, but also from developing countries, from Latin America, from Africa, who use innovative solutions to open up data, to provide public sector information, to encourage citizens use that, not only citizens but also media and of course businesses who build on open data new business models and eventually advance overall e-government agenda. We proceed now as follows. The first presenter will be Aleksandr Riabushko. He is Deputy Director of the Office of the Affairs of the Ulyanovsk region, and he will specifically focus on the open data in the Ulyanovsk region. After that, we'll hear experience from colleagues from the Microsoft, who will tell us more how open data can be harnessed using cloud solutions. Then more information about Russia in terms of using open data in different sectors, giving some examples, case studies, and finally we will proceed with the very interesting presentation from our colleague from Germany, Uwe Mengel, who will show how open data are used creatively, specifically to improve information in the field of labor and labor market information. And the webinar will be concluded by Dietrich, who is co-founder and chairman of the Open Knowledge Foundation, and he will present and summarize the overall international experience as far as the open government data is concerned, focusing on how it can be used to encourage citizen participation in public affairs, to engage them in policy making. So this is our agenda, and with that, let me give the floor to Aleksandr Riabushko. But before that, I would like to tell that I hope you know the overall sort of structure of the presentation. So please stick to 20 minutes maximum of your presentation. We will then have a series of questions and answers that will last for about 5 minutes. But in the meantime, please, if you have a special question, write in the chat to me directly, addressing @moderator, and I will ask those questions, or you will have this chance to answer the question directly to the presenter after the presentation. I will be interrupting just in case to cut your presentation and keeping the time so that we really spend the time as we planned for no more than 3 hours. So Aleksandr, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Yuri. Just a few seconds for my presentation. Hello, everybody. Dear participants, my name is Aleksandr Riabushko, and it's my honor to present the Ulyanovsk Region Open Data Initiative. First, let me briefly introduce the Ulyanovsk region. Ulyanovsk region lays in the middle Volga region, and Ulyanovsk region is located in the heart of the Volga region on both sides of Volga. The climate is moderately continental. The area is rich with mineral resources and raw materials. There are rich mineral resources and rare species of birds and animals living in the region. The main industry in the Ulyanovsk region is mechanical engineering. Russia's largest manufacturer of aircraft, the company SP, produces passenger aircraft. Currently, the company is upgrading the world's largest cargo aircraft, Ruslan, and has begun to produce cargo plane IL-476. The larger producer of off-road vehicles in Eastern Europe is also situated in Ulyanovsk. And we have also the Ulyanovsk motor plant, one of the leading manufacturers of automotive engines. In addition to this, Ulyanovsk hit 2012 doing business rating from the World Bank. That is why the region is widely popular among foreign investors. So one of the largest cities of the region, Dimitrov, here is established a nuclear generated innovation cluster and a federal high-tech center for nuclear medicine. And historically, tourism in Ulyanovsk region was drawn around health tourism, historical and cultural tourism. Ulyanovsk is famous as the birthplace of Vladimir Lenin, and here's the Lenin Memorial, the largest museum dedicated to the life of this prominent leader. Ulyanovsk region is also famous with the Museum of Civil Aviation, Kolobok Manor Craft Center, and Museum of Paleontology. In addition to this, we can say that administrative territorial structure contains 3 urban districts, 2 municipal districts, 31 urban settlements, 112 rural settlements. And the multicultural environments with various religious peculiarities provided the background for collaborative ecosystem of trust and friendship, which plays a very important role in open government. Several years ago, we have just begun implementing open government and such dimensions as open government, big and open data. E-government were unknown, but the principles were established long before the open government brand became widely popular. So I'll try to reveal our success story in up-to-date terms and definitions. Firstly, we've established data brokering organization, RGDE Ulyanovsk Center, where we are situated right now. And in collaboration with RGD Office of the Affairs of Ulyanovsk region, data serving with cloud computing was created. We continued with big data analytics and benchmarking of world cutting-edge experience. Huge amounts of information, recommendations, tours, terms of reference, laws and regulations have been processed. And secondly, regional and municipal organizations, regulations on transparency and accountability have been approved and implemented. They contain the principles of open agenda, including open programs, i.e. who is responsible for what. But that was simply not enough for building a sustainable citizen-driven government 2.0. Once again, we conducted the research with the usage of crowdsourcing to find out and evaluate the demand side in accordance with the supply side. After that, we've established regular-based monitoring, social media analytics, online citizen feedback system with law discussions, network of offline workshops and committees. And here I need to clarify that Ulyanovsk region open government is maintained not only by online but also by offline parts. And here I just mentioned it just to show the evidence. And thirdly, we've decided to be the Russian and global leaders in this field. In turn, leadership is a process, so while sustainability is one of the success factors, we've established a monthly workshop with CIOs from regional governmental bodies and municipalities, and during such workshops, regional ICT policy is discussed, i.e. how to challenge new problems, what measures should be urgently made, what regional policies must be implemented, and so on. And of course, the deadlines of all actions are discussed together, and these measures are under the direct supervision of Madame Apernasheva and the governor himself. In particular, such performance management with borrowing of change management elements enabled the permanent function of 311 anti-corruption hotline and feedback loop. These elements altogether provide excellent e-service delivery, so citizens can participate in policy making and influence the policy implementation. And here I'll just briefly show you the existing means of open agenda. So here is the form by using which citizens can contact the governor, and by filling the online form sending the request. The section contains the instructions about how to address the governor, and by means of online services and by phone. Citizens can contact the public authorities on the official website or in person. It's evident. The detailed information can be found on our websites of each department. So here are listed the website, and citizens can get consultations on the phone or send them by email. All necessary information is also provided here. Hotlines are also available, and here is the list of hotlines. We also have innovation, the so-called expanded meeting prank talk. It is organized weekly and aimed at solving urgent social problems. Here is the governor, and this is how it looks like. Citizens can call a certain number and ask their questions at special question time. The schedule is announced in advance on the home page of our official website, and all operational meetings of the government are broadcasted in a similar manner. On the broadcast time, just citizens can see the banner linked to the broadcast. And of course, citizens can participate in discussing governing documents on a special page. Here it is. After the registration on the website, citizens can comment and post documents in the section discussing draft bills. This section contains the most important socially significant documents, and just briefly, I won't pay much attention to them. But I should mention that this enables straight contact to the government member. All government meetings are broadcasted online. It's evident, and we have also the Civic chamber, and it has also its official website. And citizens can participate in the work of the civil chamber using these media. All these measures are essentially important for the success of the open government, but the second phase after open government is the Ulyanovsk Region Open Data Initiative. And the purpose of the Ulyanovsk Region Open Data Initiative is here. It has accountable goals, and now we can say that all of them are reached. And the purpose is also to facilitate the daily lives of citizens, simplify decision-making processes, and improving the transparency of the budget. And what are the highlights, background, and achievements of the program? So to reach these goals, the World Bank team of leading international open data experts helped with implemented open data readiness assessment. It is a newly developed diagnostic tool that helps review the ecosystem, benchmark it against best practices, and design an open data action plan, and identify data sets particularly relevant for the private sector. Experts helped with implementing open data readiness assessment, and the World Bank leveraged its knowledge network to invite experts from the UK, Russian NGOs such as Open Knowledge Foundation, Tatiana Polstenova, who is the guest of this webinar, Information Culture, Institute for Information Society, and others, as well as representatives of 16 other regions and Republic of Kazakhstan to participate in the launch of Open Data Initiative. So Open Data Initiative raised the profile of the Ulyanovsk region and enabled knowledge sharing. We are the first region in the world where open data readiness assessment was made by the World Bank, and its results were presented a year ago during the International Open Region Workshop in Ulyanovsk in April 2013. Shortly after open data readiness assessment was completed, the action plan produced, the Ulyanovsk region launched its open data portal and became one of the trailblazers in open data on a regional level, which was acknowledged by the federal government and independent experts. Here is the first page of the portal, and now it has 4 more mobile apps which are being upgraded now, 251 data sets, visualizations, and geolocations. That's how it looks like. And you can share data from the open data portal, in particular social media. Anyone can personally take part in releasing data sets by submitting requests for disclosure. And for that purpose, citizens can request using special form claim. Here it is. Here are the requests. Some of them are already online. All materials are browsable. It's evident. And you know that the usage of mobile app increased. Everything went on. The project provided the sustainable growth of citizen requests just on the regional scale. So the time is running out, and that is why I'll briefly mention the quality dimensions of the project. So the project has the project cost is one of the lowest among similar projects implemented in other Russian regions. So the portal has a high search availability and usability, availability of free applications to the public. It is very responsive, and it is very reliable. Open data specifically fit Russian Federation laws, standards, and requirements of ICT developers. And we have some awards. For example, during the Federal E-Democracy Congress, Governor of the Ulyanovsk region was awarded the diploma for big impact into the e-democracy and ICT community development in the Russian Federation. And Ulyanovsk region got the second prize in open government project rating. So, based on open data readiness assessment together with the Ulyanovsk region government and Russian regions, which have been proved by various rating experts. And finally, the project is easily applicable to other cities. The Ulyanovsk region Open Data Initiative approaches are widely popular among the Russian regions. In particular, experience has been successfully implemented in Tula region, Sakhalin region, Chita, and St. Petersburg, administration. This experience is also actively shared across Russian Federation at various forums. The main benefit for other regions here in using the Ulyanovsk region experience is saving millions of rubles because they implement the policy and know-how that already exist and require no additional budget funding. And by the way, following this successful pilot, open data readiness assessments have since been conducted by the World Bank in many other countries of the world. For example, Rwanda, Tanzania, Antigua and Barbuda, Burkina Faso, Peru, Ethiopia, to name a few. And we are open for collaboration. Thank you for attending the WeGO International Training Webinar. And please visit our official website, WeGO.region.ru, and please add me to a network of professional contacts in LinkedIn. So thank you very much. My presentation is finished, and I give the word to Yuri. Yuri, please.
Yes, thank you very much, Aleksandr, for that very interesting presentation. Unfortunately, you can't see me, but hopefully you can hear me. Is that correct? Can you hear me?
Yes, sure. Yes, sure.
But I can't. Yes, for some reason I can't switch off. But anyway, Aleksandr, so we've got some time for discussion, and one of the questions which I've got during your presentation from oh, can you hear me? Yes, still.
Yes, yes, I hear.
Yeah, from Daniel, because there is something from Daniel Dietrich, who's asking whether you use any specific open license for releasing the data. If so, which particular license, for example, Creative Commons or special license, so under which license the data are released? Daniel, please correct me if I'm wrong, but I think this is the question you have asked.
Okay. Thank you for the question. The question is very good. In Russian Federation, we haven't got Creative Commons license, just in the way it works in the UK and in the European Union, but we have other regulations. And talking about the Ulyanovsk region portal, it works under the same ideology as the Creative Commons license. So everybody can download any information he likes, free of charge and freely. All information is open to public. So if you are a developer, if you are a citizen, you do not need special permission for downloading it. And so it's free of charge, and it's so that's the answer to your question. And so are there any other questions, or we can switch to Vitaly Vlasov?
Yeah, okay. Aleksandr, I also got a question. Maybe I will be asking that question to asking every presenter. So what is the one or two major lessons which you have learned from launching this open data initiative? Because you've got also legislation, federal legislation. Russia is a big country, and then you've got initiative at the regional level. You've got different partners. And would you have any advice, any conclusions? So what have been your major lessons from what you have started, what you're doing? So what is that?
The main suggestion is that we should work and not discuss. So if you want to deliver an successful open data initiative, you should work first, then you should discuss. So we are running out of time, and Yuri, could you please give the floor to Mr. Vlasov?
Yes. Okay. So this is good. So learning by doing so. Now we will move. A small change in our presentation. We will move to Vitaly Vlasov. He is Chief Executive Officer of the Open City Foundation, and he will tell us more about what is being done in Russia overall in terms of open data. Vitaly, the floor is yours.
Okay, I'm here. You can hear me, yes?
Yes, yes, we can hear you.
Okay.
Well, usually, just a note for the participants, usually it takes several seconds probably to upload the presentation. It's uploaded, but we need to put it on the desk. So just be patient.
So you can see my desktop, yes?
Okay. We still cannot see it. Okay, now it's being uploaded.
Yes, you can see my presentation.
Oh yes, yes. So please proceed, Vitaly.
Okay.
And you know you've got 20 minutes maximum.
Okay, thank you. Hello everyone. I'm Vitaly from St. Petersburg, and I'm very glad to participate in this event and welcome everyone. And we'll try to share our experience in Russia in open data and promoting open government. So I'm from Open City Foundations, non-profit, non-government organization, which was established 5 years ago, and we promote open data and teach people how to use open data, organize workshops, and help local government to make open data. So I will mention 3 main roles of open data in our opinion. First of all, transparency of government, governance efficiency, and innovations for cities. So we think that open data can help people believe government and make government more transparency. We believe then governance efficiency can be improved if government will publish more and more open data. And also we believe that business can accept open data and create more innovation tools and innovation services for citizens and citizen society. We believe that today Russian government should ensure transparency, and government has huge massive of data which must be opened in structured manner. So we believe that people in collaboration with government can solve and improve a lot of problems and can work together. So several years ago, in an analytical report on implementation of presidential decree, shown inefficiency use of money. It's approximately $6 billion. And this is a big field for open data also to improve and fix this inefficient use. We believe that this model should work for using open data, for implementation of open data. It's transparency, participation, and collaboration. So I can explain. For example, if local government department publish data on their website and they think that they're transparent, yes, it's okay. But if people will know about this initiative, don't know about this, about the published data sets, nothing happens. So they should promote data. For example, organize hackathons or another events to attract developers to use open data and publish press releases and etc. For example, they can organize competition, and developers will develop some new services or innovations. It's called participation. So, but it's not enough. If developers develop applications which will not be used by government, it will not work. So government should accept and should help developers to increase.
So Vitaly disappeared for several seconds. We'll try to fix this.
Yeah, I think this is fine. We just can wait a little bit, and just in case, we can continue our discussion. If anyone would have a question so far from the audience, so very much welcome. But Aleksandr, I'm still going back to your, while waiting for Vitaly to come back for your presentation, that one of the lessons probably from other regions also, that you can advance very quick, and just do it. One of the mottos to it's learning by doing. So not discussing, not developing strategy, but just working.
Yes, sure, Jeff. Because so we have much experience in this field, and sometimes we see that other regions first provide specific sums of money and so on and so on. And in this respect, we should say that it's better first to make some research, then to find out the key strategic actions, and then to raise some funding, but not in the opposite way. Do you know what I mean?
Yes. This is, I think this is. Yeah, quite interesting. Basically, what you've been doing, so it's pretty much in line with other international experience. By the way, there is another question asked by participants. Dear colleagues, how open data is related to big data concept? I'm interested in your points of view. So maybe Aleksandr, because you were the first, so how open data is related to big data? Well, from my point of view, so not every big data is open data and vice versa, but how do you answer this question from the audience?
In my opinion, big data is more complex definition, and open data is more specific definition. So big data is more connected with such things like data centers, video remote control systems, and big data sets. But open data is something more specific. It is a specific field which can help us to organize concrete interaction between the government and the citizens and the developers and so on.
Yeah, I think this is a very important point, that open data, open government data, not only of course from the government data, but there are open data available with civil society organizations, even with citizens, that they encourage the involvement of civil society. This is something that we'll hear from Dietrich, because that will be the focus of his presentation. But overall, of course, big data, this is something quite exciting either, and the raw data, the more data you have, then the easier would find some sort of trend. So it's not necessarily open, but I think there is some connection, of course, in these two concepts, and the time will show how exactly big data would be turning into open data, and what is the value also of raw data, which can be really raw. So it's would make a lot of effort and probably a lot of computing capacity in order to process this data. So while open data can be released relatively easy, given that there is political will on the government or government public institutions who would like to be more open. So there is of course this difference, but how this relationship would develop, we'll see in time. Further. Now I see that probably we're coming up to, there is a slide on open data, big data. Somebody is showing this relationship, and
Yuri, maybe Vitaly is absent, and he will come back in several minutes, but would you mind to give the floor to Uwe Mengel, because he's next on our agenda?
Yeah, okay, definitely. So we will continue listening to Vitaly when he is back, and of course, everyone understands that this is technology. So Uwe, are you online now?
Yes, I'm online. And
okay, excellent. So the floor is yours now.
And I could start my presentation.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, can you see the first slide of the presentation?
Not yet. I cannot see yet. But again, I think is a bit frozen. No, I cannot see anyone. Anyone?
Yes,
Aleksandr?
yes, we can see it.
Okay, go on then. Yeah.
Okay, then I can start the presentation. Hello everybody, thanks for the invitation to the webinar. I want to report about our tool which provides data for regional networks. And as you can see at the first slide, the labor market monitor is part of the German Federal Employment Agency, which is the German Public Employment Service. The aim of our tool is to connect the actors on the labor market and to give them profound information about labor market and surrounding conditions, and as well we try to give the networks the possibility to interact and to communicate. So what we try to do is to give data and social media for network interaction, and it is in fact an instrument for analyzing regional labor market developments and to act together preventively with other network partners on a regional level. And to do this, we provide regional data on sectors and professions, and we give the possibility to visualize the regional data and to give the people, just a moment, success stories. This is the structure of the labor market. So we have 5 main parts. As mentioned, the data models, I will give a short glance on them a little bit later. We have success stories which display good practice in solving labor market problems. We have the possibility for the members of our tool to discuss in use groups or to comment data objects. The people also have the possibility to establish a personal profile so that other people on the platform can reach them. And for the networks, which is the last part, we have the possibility to cooperate and to communicate. The networks has, for example, the possibility to upload and download files and data via our tool. The first of our data models depends on the branches at the regional level. You can see on the slide a map of Germany, and you see one branch highlighted. This is the health services, and you can see how the regions estimate the development of the employment in this branch in their region. And you see it's green. Most of the regions expect a growth of employment in the next few months. Other data model, we have more than 20 regional structure indicators, and we have them for all the more than 400 counties, and we have as you can see at the top, a timeline, so you can go back to 2000 and see the development from 2000 up to 2013. And now I try to change the media and to look at the desktop. Okay, and change to give you a sight at the tool itself, because I can't show it in a presentation. Can you see my desktop now? I hope so. I will show you.
Yes, sure. Yes, sure.
Yeah, you should see.
Yes,
now you can see the development of two indicators over the years since 2000, and every user of our tool can use this visualization and change the indicators, change the regions he wants to see or he wants to highlight, and can make different and can use the different indicators for his own presentations and for his own analysis. Okay, I go back to the presentation and I hope it will work. Just a moment. So there we are at the PowerPoint presentation. Last of our data models is a data model based on the occupations of the people. What you can see here are visualizations of the regional expected shortage for skilled workers. And in this diagram, in the right upper corner, you can see a ratio of unemployed and jobs. In the middle, you can see the peer groups of the ages, and then you can see diagrams for the part-time employment and the woman and the man employed in this job. I now want to change to the success stories. The success stories are user-generated. That means that all our users can display their successes and their good practice in solving labor market problems, and every of the flags on the map stands for one or more success stories, and if you click on one of these flags, then you can get details and contact to the people who provide this success story. No?
Yes, yes.
Next, I want to the networking. The networking is the part we want to support, and we have at this time about approximately 1,000 networks who are cooperating on basis of the labor market monitor, and what we want to provide is internal network exchange. We want to give them the possibility to learn from other networks and to share good examples with the others, and to come together and to get discussions via forums. Organizational structure of the labor market monitor. The operating team, which is my team, has a size of seven persons. We do the network support, we do the general support, and we are responsible for the further development of the tool. For on the next level, we have a decision-making boards, which is assuring the quality of the data models. This board is meeting 3 times per year, and we have an advisory board with external persons from science, politics, administrations, which is coming together 2 times a year, and which hopefully gives us advices for the further development of our tool. And as a last point, I want to talk a little bit about the costs of our tool. We have had development tools of about €1.5 million because we have bought most of the tool. We have very low costs for software and licenses because we are working with open source software. Currently we have labor costs of about €750,000 per year and material costs, which is mainly software development and operation, of about €600,000 per year, and no costs for software and license. Yeah, thank you very much.
Now, Uwe, thank you very much for this presentation. I'm listening to your talk for the second time, and I'm still quite amazed what has been done using the open data approach, and how a powerful tool you've created in a very, very socially important area of labor and employment. This is really incredible. I've got a question to you also, the same as to other speakers. So what has been 1, 2, maybe 3 main lessons of what you've learned doing that? So and why labor? So is that something that has been simply very important on the agenda, on the government agenda, or just it's been your ministry proactive in this field? So how would you answer?
I want to answer the second question first. Why labor?
Yeah.
The labor market monitor is a reaction of the crisis in 2008, 2009.
Okay.
And we learned that the problems we have to manage cannot be managed from one actor at the labor market because they are too complex. And so we have to build local networks and to support local networks.
Okay.
And this was the idea behind the labor market monitor. And because the labor market is very complex, you have very many actors who don't know each other.
Yes.
And
yeah.
who should know and who should work together to join the actions.
Mm-hmm.
The first question
about some lessons. So what you learned?
The lesson. I think the lesson was mentioned before.
Mm.
The lesson is you just have to do it.
Okay.
You don't have to wait that anybody is giving you the allowance to do it, or to make a decision that the data is sufficient. You just have to take the data you have and you have to start.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Thank you very much, Uwe. I think that there could be still more questions from the audience, but at the moment, I thank you very much for that. And I just can say that you've done very well doing so. This is also raises the issue of capacities, because the system is so sophisticated, and you do a lot of visualization. And that's an excellent example of collaboration, one of the principles, of course, of open data development, but also capacities. So you've got good capacities of experts and statisticians probably to work on that. So this is quite important, at least for me as well. So now with this, because we could not finish with the presentation of Vitaly Vlasov the case of Russia, we're trying to give the floor again to him so that he would continue his presentation, and then we would give the floor to Daniel. So Vitaly, can you hear me? Are you ready to present? Hello? Hello? Hello, Vitaly?
Yes, I'm here. You can hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I'm not sure about the rest, but you now uploading your presentation. Very good. So now you can continue. Either you can start from the beginning, we do have time, or continue from where you stopped. So it's up to you.
So
But don't rush. I mean, no rush. I think we do have time. We're a little bit even ahead of time, so that's fine if you just start from the beginning. So our presentation is quite big, but very interesting, very informative. I think it will be a lot of value if the audience would see it.
Okay.
Okay.
I should start from the beginning.
Okay, please go ahead. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm sorry for interruption again, and I am from St. Petersburg, and from Open Civic Foundation, we organize events and help government use open data. And now I want to tell more about our Russian experience. So we identified three main roles of open data: transparency of government, government efficiency, and availability to create innovations for cities and attract people to create new services for cities and living in cities. And I will miss some slides, so sorry. And for example, one of the main important things is improve efficiency of governance. And from analytical report on implementation presidential decree several years ago, we can identify that approximately $6 billion was inefficient use, and I think that this is big opportunity. Big opportunity for open data. So I explained it a model that works, but I just mentioned that it's transparency, participation, and collaboration. And we think that each component of this model should be included in open data policy in each region in Russia. So we have 3 laws and also the definition of open data. That open data is not only open information, it's also machine readable data. This definition also now included in federal law. And last year, Russian Parliament and President accepted changes in federal laws, and now on 3 levels of in Russia: federal level, federal level, regional level, and municipal level. Open data should be implemented. So we have Council on Open Data in Russian government. We have Open Data Portal. It includes approximately 1,000 data sets and approximately 20 applications from Russia. We have Open Data of Parliament, data accessible via API. Each federal ministry's website should include chapter on open data, and you can find on each website of federal ministers and federal agency some kind of open data and passports of open data. It of course included priority data sets. So regional level is mostly active in open data. Approximately 10, maybe more, regions and federal cities like St. Petersburg and Moscow have own open data portals. Of course, also Ulyanovsk region and other regions. Moscow has a mostly beautiful and I think powerful open data portal. The main principle of publishing data is well-prepared data. It's not published as much as possible, but well-prepared data. We have open data portal in St. Petersburg, and it's smaller than Moscow initiative. Included approximately 60 data sets and several apps. So how government promote open data in Russia? Moscow hackathons and in St. Petersburg was organized a competition Open Peter Mobile. Winner of Moscow hackathon this year was apps for young moms, who can find different information for children like stores, hospitals, and etc. And Russian winner, one of the winners in St. Petersburg, an Open Peter Mobile, was app's Livable City. This app used data from St. Petersburg Open Data Portal, like stores, hospitals, museums, parks, cinemas, etc., and calculate rating of comfortable living by address on different districts in St. Petersburg. Also, we organize events like hackathons and city camps in St. Petersburg for attract developers to use open data. This year we will hold third open data hackathon in St. Petersburg, and last year we had winner from Ulyanovsk. It was a great team of Ulyanovsk developers. They developed mobile app with a cultural sites guide. They used open data, the data from open data portal of Ulyanovsk, and combine with data from Wikipedia. 2 years ago, we had winner another app of public transport online timetable. Recently, I worked with World Bank on project Open Transport Data Study as a part of National Urban Transport Project in Russia. We work in collaboration with Andrew Stott from United Kingdom and James Bond from United States of America. The study included using World Bank methodology and reviewing data users and data owners and understanding data flows in government. Transportation data is very popular and in my opinion is very important for developing open data applications. It's mostly popular around the world and in Russia too, kind of data sets. So it can be used traditional sources and new technologies which can provide new data, and we try to understand new directions and new possibilities and how transportation data of St. Petersburg can be used by users and which data should be published by government. I will miss this slide. And final report is not published officially, but we prepared 8 strategic recommendations for St. Petersburg city administration and 4 recommendations for Ministry of Transport of Russian Federation. So we describe a situation, current situation with open transport data in St. Petersburg, of course, not in Russia. Mistake on this slide. And Luis also included information about data users and data owners, expectations, and available policies. When I can notify you and we can share this information. So we studied different data owners. Different data owners like Committee of Transport, Committee of Transport Infrastructure, 2 different committees who works in transport data, and another. So we need to find that these 7 data sets published and can be used by citizens. It's public transport data, metro data, traffic data, road street network information, parking data, information about delay of public transport, and traffic restrictions. Some of data already published, but some of data is only inside organizations. Right now we have transport portal of St. Petersburg, where data of public transport like stops, real-time position of buses, trams, etc. published by using GTFS format and accessible via API, so but on demand only. Approximately 10 apps right now use this data. Also included one of the winner of our hackathon. Okay, my next point is about open budget. I think this is very important kind of data sets which could be published on all levels, from federal level, regional level, and especially municipal level. Right now, municipalities are not so actively in publishing open data, but this is very important level, and we should promote and attract the government to publish budgets. So we created project for Leningrad region, open budget of Leningrad region. We used current data which published in Excel, and we transformed structure and introduced a new open budget format to publish budget data on open spending platform. Also, we use OpenRefine to do this, and we use open spending for publishing in visualization of budget of Leningrad region. So this information is more attractive for people and more useful. For example, this first level is programs of budget, second level is sub-programs of budget, and last third level is articles. So by clicking, people can understand structure of budget better. For example, and last, this is example of transaction for each article in budget. So each link is clickable, and people can understand which program and which kind of spendings include. So here's chapter and sub-chapter of economics, and so different kind of visualization accessibility. So here you can find some links to another open budget projects in Russia, and I can share this presentation, and you can click it and check later. So some principles for future work. We recommend to use some tools, for example, public value assessment tool, which developed by Center for Technology and Government in Albany.
It seems that Vitaly disappeared again, and okay, that sometimes occurs. And Yuri, are you here? Yuri? Yuri also has some troubles, so I will come back.
Oh,
to
now I'm here, Aleksandr. I'm here. It's just freezing a little bit, but I'm here.
Okay,
do we have
great.
a problem here?
Yeah. Vitaly just switched away again, and maybe it's time to give the floor to Daniel Dietrich.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, I think we've heard quite a lot from Vitaly's two presentations today, and see with every presenter we see how diverse and really broad the open data subject is. So now we would like to give the floor to Daniel Dietrich. Daniel, are you online?
Yes, I am.
Okay, excellent. So we've heard some references to the World Bank and the importance of international organizations in that, and of course you will be presenting something you have done for the United Nations. So the floor is yours now, please.
Thank you very much indeed for the invitation.
Colleagues, Daniel Dietrich just disappeared. We'll try to fix this. Just a few seconds.
I think I should be back.
Yes, you are back. We'll just return you. Yes, we can hear you. Thank you very much, Daniel. Excuse me.
Shall we try without the video, maybe? Can you see my presentation?
Yes, perfectly well.
Okay, great. So, yeah, thanks again for the kind invitation. I was asked to talk a little bit about the guidelines on open government data for citizen engagement guideline that was commissioned by UNDESA and was released last year in September. Just a little bit background about myself. I'm currently working as the chairperson for the Open Knowledge Foundation here in Germany, which I also co-founded. I have a background in media science and political science, and also in technology and informatics. I used to work several years in IT businesses before I dedicated my work to NGO sector, especially on e-government and open government data. Yeah, and I was, as an independent consultant, was approached by DPADM, UNDESA, to help draft the guidelines for open government data for citizen engagement, which can be found online under this URL that you can see there. You can still hear me?
Yes, sure. Please continue.
Okay, great. So maybe not everybody in the room knows about DPADM, which is the Division of Public Administration and Development Management as part of UN Department of the Economic and Social Affairs, UNDESA. UNDESA and the DPADM are conducting research and policy on open government data since 2010. They consider open government data as very relevant to their work, as it is one field of e-government with a high potential to strengthen participatory governance. So from the point of view of UNDESA, open government data should be a vital part of every open government policy or initiative, as it allows citizens to understand how the government works and thereby helps to improve accountability, transparency, and citizen engagement. Open government data should also allow citizens to be aware of important issues and to be part in decision-making process and address policy issues. I want to just very briefly say a word on this particular focus, which I think is quite interesting. In many countries, especially here in Western Europe, open government data is mostly addressed as as an economic value, because there is thinking, for example, from the European Commission, also from the government of the UK, and also here in Germany, that there is a high potential for economic value when government release their data for the private sector and also the science academic sector to be exploring that data to build new public services and so on, which is true. But I think it's also remarkable that there's this other perspective on why it is important to open up data, and it is, for me, it was very interesting to learn that UNDESA was particularly interested in highlighting that social value that can come by opening up data in terms of transparency, accountability, and citizen engagement. So I guess you guys can still hear me?
Yes, sure, we can hear you. Please continue.
Just continue. So the guidelines on open government data for citizen engagement are designed for policymakers and technologists to first understand what open government data is, why it is important, and how it is connected to citizen engagement, how to assess a country's readiness for designing an open government initiative, and how to create, implement, and monitor such an initiative. It has the guidelines are structured in 5 sections. So it has an introduction, section 1 that introduces the topic. In the second section, we will look at country level assessment, designing an open government data strategy. Section 3 is then about implementing and monitoring, and then section 4 looks more into how such initiatives can be implemented in a way that they are at low costs and that they can be sustained. Building an open data ecosystem. It also has a large annex in section 5, which has a lot of examples and to-do lists and templates and so on for implementation. So the elements of the guidelines are, as I said already, an introduction to the terms and topics, explanation of context, a methodology for readiness assessment. I think the first speaker already talked about the World Bank's open data readiness assessment. I have to say that the methodology in the readiness assessment of the UN DISA's guidelines is more abstract. It's not as detailed as the World Bank's, and it should be further developed. But I think it's a good read to dive into the topic and understand what are the elements of such an open data initiative that should be taken into consideration when designing and implementing. The elements of the guidelines are then followed by practical assistance for a strategy design, and then a more hands-on, step-by-step advice on the implementation, some methodology for evaluation, and, as I mentioned, quite an extensive reference and background section. So, the readiness assessment is at the heart of this toolkit, because we came to when we conducted our research, we found out that countries, when you're looking into designing and implementing an open data initiatives, being that on a national level or on a regional level or on a local level, in most places we will find very different circumstances and different environments. So a thorough understanding of the conditions in the local cultural context are very important for these initiatives to be successful. So we have a quite Guys, your slides are not showing. Oh, I'm sorry, I missed that. So I'm now on slide 9 of 15. What are you seeing?
Daniel, me as a speaker can switch the slides, but other participants only see the front page of the presentation. So could you please switch the other slide, next slide, for example? Yes.
But it was somehow it didn't function. So I'm sorry for that.
Okay.
So we are now on slide 9, as I said. So here you see the structure, and here you see the elements of the guidelines, and here we are at slide number 9. I guess you're all on page 9 now, right?
Yes, sure.
Yeah. And eventually show the desktop view. I can also do that. Okay, shall we do that?
Well, I think we we have two options. Either we can continue or proceed. I think it's fine. We can proceed. Yeah, no problem.
Do you see the desktop presentation right now?
I see the slide number 9 out of 15.
And now you see 10?
No.
Yes, I see.
Yeah, but that might be a problem on my side. Yeah.
So
yeah.
So for the readiness assessment, we decided to have a quite broad approach. So we're looking at the different factors that might have an impact on such an initiative, which is the political commitment, the capacity in the private sector, the capacity of civil society and media, the legislative framework, the institutional and organizational framework of the government body involved. It looks at cultural and human resources condition. It looks at financial considerations, technical infrastructure, the data and information system that is used by the government, as well as the legal and technical openness of the data. And from all these different elements of the assessment, we try to help people to understand which are the let's say the potential barriers and the things that they should focus on when implementing such an initiative. So, do you now see the slide on the questions?
Not yet. I see slide still number 9.
Yes, I can see it. Yeah, I can see the slide with questions.
Okay, questions for further research, yeah?
Yeah, question for further research. It was quite clear that the guidelines they are not set in stone. They are more considered as living documents, and I think in the global open government data community there is quite a agreement that more research is needed to really understand what makes conditions in a country ready for an open data initiative, how to gauge the impacts, and how to actually measure success of initiative. There has been a lot of talks about how to measure economic impacts of open government data initiatives, which I think is still very hard to understand, and I think it's even more hard to understand the social benefits of open government data. So how would you measure the benefits of a government that is more transparent, and how would you measure the benefits to society if the government is more accountable and more efficient? These are questions that are really tough to answer. So from my understanding, there is quite a lot of research more needed to really understand those issues in the longer term. And now I'm switching to the next slide, which is quite an interesting observation that I came across when I did this research, which is the three-tiered approach. Can you guys see this slide?
Yes, I can see it. The three-tiered approach.
Yeah, the three-tiered approach was a phrase by Sir Tim Berners-Lee in an interview of the Open Government data, on the open data study by my colleague Becky Hodge, and he said, for an open data initiative to be successful, it has to start at the top, in the middle, and at the bottom. And what he means by that is that an open government data initiative can only be successful if there is political commitment at the top level, if there is an engaged and well-resourced middle layer of skilled government bureaucrats, and there is an active civil society or even businesses in the country demanding for open data, demanding it for reuse, being that for reasons of transparency and citizen engagement, or being that to start new businesses for economic growth. And I think this observation is quite interesting, because many people look at open government data initiatives as a technical exercise, while from my understanding, this is actually the problem is not so much in the technical implementation, but more on the process, as this is a process towards cultural change, towards more government openness, about new forms of collaboration, of transparency and participation. So there has to be political will and the demand. So bring together the supply side and the demand side is kind of what makes what is tricky when it comes to this kind of initiatives. So the conclusions, the brief conclusions out of this research is have a close look and assess the environment for the implementation, learn from others, learn from other guidelines and best practice recommendations that have been developed already, get the stakeholders engaged as early as possible and as often as possible. So talk to the civil society organizations and talk to the businesses that have a demand for open government data to build their businesses on. Another recommendation is keep it simple and manage the expectations. What we've seen in quite a lot of countries, that there is a kind of open government data is treated as a magic panacea, something that you just have to open the data and then we can stop climate change, or we can eliminate poverty from Earth. And that's of course not true. Opening government data is just the first step, and then other steps have to follow, being that supporting the reuse for transparency or supporting the reuse for economic growth. And that's basically it from my presentation. So you can access the documents online. There's also a version where you can add comments and or add translations. There's already one Japanese translation. And yeah, what's next? Better understanding of readiness and feasibility. More research should be conducted, and as I understand, UNDESA is looking into doing a next version of the toolkit that would implement and link to other studies in the field to help governments and stakeholders to engage.
Daniel, thank you very much for your presentation and attracting our attention to the really important social side, societal side, and as far as the open data is concerned, I fully agree with you that technological aspects usually dominate, and we know about the 5-star models and semantic web, and there is a lot, of course, and it's true but still it's highly important that those open data which are being released or made open, they serve social purpose and they're used by civil society and reused, and that's extremely important that this three-tier approach, when political will and grassroots level and specialists are united together. I think that we've heard also some of your conclusions. We can reflect already on those presentations done. What we have missed, of course, now that we haven't heard about the technological side, which was supposed to be presented and explain how cloud technologies could be used for that. I'm just asking, is there any question from the audience? From the audience to Daniel on his presentation? Hello? Hello? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just asking, we've been focusing on presenters, but what about the audience? Any questions from the audience? No? Okay, if not, then Aleksandr, so how would we proceed now? Do we have anyone to present Dejan's presentation, or we just will be finishing with this?
Hello again. Dejan is absent, unfortunately, because he's pressed on time, and unfortunately he can't make a presentation. And would you like to add something to the presentation of Daniel, or maybe anybody of the audience who would like to ask questions? Please type and use the chat.
Yeah, this is what I'm asking, that there's a good chance to ask questions to all the presenters, in fact. So now those who are listening to us, and we know that there is around 30 people, so that they can have a great chance to ask directly questions to every presenter.
So in addition to this, we can switch on everybody who wants to, so it's also possible. Please use your chance.
Yeah, there are no questions in the chat, but
so maybe we'll try to plug in somebody. What do you think about it?
Hello.
Everybody's either shy or sleeping.
I'm afraid that they can't speak probably because of the
muted microphones.
Yeah, because of the microphone. No, I'm definitely not sleeping. But you know, this is technology, and this is sometimes if it can go wrong, it will go wrong. That's for sure. But Aleksandr is trying now to switch on the microphones for everyone, because chat may be not the best way. Can anyone from the audience just say hello to me? I can't hear anything.
Hello.
Hello, please introduce yourself and ask your question. No questions. It's Ronald Paul, M in Java, PH.
No questions. Yeah. Okay, then maybe I'll just take a few minutes just to wrap up and then give the floor to Aleksandr, right? So that you could finish. So in my from professional point of view, I think that the presentations have been quite interesting, and in every presentation we learn something which can make a bigger picture, and we I think it's incredible how Russia has progressed in open data at different levels. So we can talk about federal level, sort of a country-wide. There are laws in place and there are standards and then we see active regions which can implement. This is exactly what Daniel was referring to, that we don't need only the top. We do need political will at the top level, but also we need those at the mid level who can really put that into practice. And then finally, the grassroots level, civic society. And from Vitaly's presentation, we heard different application area where it could use, and the hackathons and specialists from civil society working in different applications in transportation, in geographical information systems. So this is really endless. So, and then quite interesting example from Germany, which is, I think, still quite unique when the so important labor and employment area has been turned into powerful analytical tool, but also not analytical tool. In a way, for me, this is a new type of a social network, but more professional network, which can provide invaluable information for decision makers. But of course, there are questions we cannot answer at all, and perhaps more webinars would be needed. To which extent the open data drive the overall e-governance progress? To which extent we can look at open data as a government service, or maybe it's something more, maybe it's part of e-democracy, maybe it's both. I think the jury is still out there, but this webinar was not, of course, aiming at answering all the questions, but I think we scratched the surface a little bit, and if we can be in touch and try to communicate, then I think that will be great. From my side, I just want to thank all the presenters for their very interesting presentation, their willingness to share their knowledge, their know-how in a way, and also thank the Ulyanovsk regional authorities for what they're doing and this quite important initiative in the region, even I would say globally. So thank you very much from my side, and then I'll give the floor to Aleksandr to whatever, close the workshop or say anything. What are the plans? So thanks a lot.
Thank you, Yuri. It's a great honor for me, and I'm very proud to make some announcement that Yuri Misnikov is a research fellow from ITMO University, Russia, St. Petersburg. He's the PhD in New Media and Communications from University of Leeds, UK. He's the member of the Supervisory Board of e-Governance Academy in Tallinn, Estonia. And so just to clarify, and in addition to this, I would like to thank the speakers and the attendees of the webinar once again. And we will definitely send all the presentation and materials to the participants of this wonderful webinar. And once again, I would like to announce that this webinar was made and organized in the framework of WeGO e-Government training program with the support of ITMO University and European Ulyanovsk Regional WeGO Office. So thank you very much once again. If somebody has any questions, please email them, and please stay in touch. We're open for collaboration in the future and open for participation in some events of yours. Thank you very much, dear participants.
Okay, thank you, and bye-bye. Stay in touch, bye-bye.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Bye.